We all know Spirit Airlines as the bottom of the barrel, terrible quality, most hated airline on the internet. And at first glance, it does look like the carrier with the poorest service, quality, and comfort in America, with its only upside being price. I mean, the seats are made of cardboard, the legroom is abysmal, and obviously there is no complimentary food. But what if I told you that Spirit might not actually be the worst airline in the US? There's another strong contender for this title, with much worse reviews, being rated poorer than Spirit in pretty much every category imaginable. So today, we're comparing the two worst airlines in the United States based on a multitude of factors to see who is the king of being crappy, I guess. Both of these airlines have extremely slimline, light seats that are basically pieces of plastic draped over with fabric. They both have these comically small tray tables.
What the hell is even that?
Flimsy armrests and abysmal seat width. On Spirit's Airbus A320s, there are generally two classes of seats. Most prominently is standard economy. These seats have around 28 to 29 inches of pitch. For reference, Delta's A320 main cabin seats have 30 inches of pitch. American has 31, and United also has about 30. So yeah, Spirit seats are pretty tight. Their aircraft also feature big front seats, which have around 36 inches of pitch. They're also wider and padded much better. As for the other airline, their economy seats are the same as Spirit, at about 28 to 29 inches of pitch. However, this carrier only has one class, being economy. Their cabins feature extra legroom seats, which are technically a different class. However, these seats are just the exact same design as all others, just spaced further apart on exit and front rows. So yeah, no actual improvement in padding or seat width, just 10 inches more legroom. Both of these airlines operate off the ULCC model, or ultra low-cost carrier. Essentially, they offer incredibly cheap base fares, which initially seems attractive to customers. However, when you start adding on things like checked baggage, carry-ons, and food, the fees start to stack up. Both carriers allow one free small personal item, but other checked luggage and carry-ons you'll have to pay a hefty fee for. For example, this Spirit Airlines flight from Austin to Fort Lauderdale runs you $124 one way. But say you wanted to bring one extra carry-on and check one piece of luggage. This could potentially bring your total up to $269, which is literally more than double the original price. This is how these ULCCs operate. They boasted dirt cheap upfront costs, then pile on fees, trying to make money off of any little thing. However, these ticket prices are still significantly cheaper than mainline carriers, which makes them a viable option for many travelers. If we're comparing the prices of the two carriers, it really depends on the route you're flying. After all, different airlines have focus cities in different places, so prices will be determined on the city pair the flight is being operated between. Now, both of these airlines and generally all low-cost carriers operate off a very untraditional route structure. You see, they use a strategy called point-to-point, different from the normalized hub-and-spoke strategy. Essentially, the focus is on connecting cities without a central hub, offering more direct flights for passengers. There is greater emphasis on the network of routes dispersed throughout the country, rather than individual focus cities you see in the traditional hub-and-spoke system. Spirit Airlines is centered around the eastern US, with extensive flights from Florida and the Midwest. The other airline is based in the western US, operating routes extensively from Colorado, but also much of the East Coast as well. This airline is actually more of a hybrid between point-to-point and hub-and-spoke, with a major hub in Denver and Orlando and Las Vegas as focus cities. And although Spirit does primarily operate off a point-to-point system, they do have a few crucial hubs, the largest ones being Fort Lauderdale, Detroit, and Orlando. Both of these airlines also fly to many destinations in Central and South America, such as Cancun, San Jose, and Bogota. They also operate a bunch of flights to and from Florida daily, taking advantage of vacation markets. Other than water, no complimentary refreshments are handed out on either of these carriers, which honestly is pretty expected. Obviously, you'll be charged for any snack or drink, and the prices are not so great. The basic snack mixes such as chips or crackers are offered, as well as sodas, tea, and coffee. Both carriers also have these snack bundles, which can save you a couple bucks. So if you haven't guessed already, yes, the airline is Frontier Airlines. Whether Spirit or Frontier is the worst airline is really subjective and depends on a lot of factors. If you've experienced either of these airlines, let me know what you thought and how the flight went. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching and bye.